Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network and another episode of the NBA Betting Card Live. Every Tuesday, we break down the NBA slate, and I'm so lucky to be joined by Spread Astaire and Tyler Hicks. We're also so lucky on FanSpeak to have their NBA treasure map up on FanSpeak each and every day. You can go check that out at fanspeak.com homepage. Click the sports betting tab, and it's their NBA treasure map. See how their projections and how they get to their bets. So we've got a 4-game slate tonight, and Spread, I will go to you first. I know we kind of talked a little pre-show, but what are you thinking? How are you doing today, of course, and what are you thinking about this 4-game slate?
I'm doing great. Tough slate. Some pretty heavy favorites here tonight, but Tyler and I haven't talked yet, so this should be a fun one as we talk through these and find some winners. Just because something's tough at first glance doesn't mean it's not beatable. So I'm pretty excited to dive into these.
That's a good life lesson for us all. Just sometimes you got to look a little further. I like it. Tyler, how are you doing? I know you and I were sweating out some NFL best ball last night, so I was up late. I'm still tired and exhausted emotionally from that. But how are you doing? And what do you think of this 4-game NBA slate?
Yeah, doing good. Little less stress now that round's over. Got one BBM ticket through. I think it was one of those little contests called like the Puppy 3 or something.
Yeah.
Got one through. Those are good too. So those are fun. Lost another one by 1 point because Hurts decides to throw an interception on the last play of the game. But it is what it is. Got one ticket through. And looking at this NBA slate, just like Spread said, we haven't talked. I think there's some spots we'll find on this board, though. Just an initial glance that I looked at it when I first woke up. I think there's some easy spots we can find here.
Okay. I like it. Well, let's start talking it through, boys. We start the night, Memphis Grizzlies at the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans are favored by 7. Total is 228.5. So Spread, break this one down for us to get us started.
Ja Morant returns to the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, This team is obviously disappointed. They were hoping to be around the 500 mark while he's out. Coming back at a 6-19.
Right.
He's got an excellent case to make for MVP if he can turn this team around right away. From expressing some of my frustrations with this card a little earlier today, my projections are now completely worthless on the Memphis Grizzlies. So it's up to us. Pardon?
I said, are they though? He's coming back. He might help out somewhat, but there's still no one else around. Marcus Smart's still out. Kennard's still out. The bench is there's no bench.
You still got Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. here.
Jaren Jackson just doesn't look the same. It almost looks like that stat.
I think he got who did he get 44 against?
I know Chet was bullying him last night or the night before. Chet had 7 blocks on him.
Really? I missed that.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. So you think that my projections are fine for this team, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he helped. I think he helps a little bit. He's going to bolster their points, but I just don't think first game back it's like boom, he hits the floor. He's in game speed shape. He was never a guy that really made the guys around him better. He put up a 50-point game and he might have 8 assists, but I feel like a lot of those come once he's double teamed and he's fighting for those last couple points. So I think he helps out scoring a little bit, but then you look at the matchup, they're not putting CJ McCollum on him. They're going to put one of the good defenders on him in Herb Jones. It's a long defender that can guard him. I think that slows him down. They have the advantage everywhere else. I think the Pelicans just kind of come in. They roll back onto their home floor, and they just beat the hell out of this team, Spread.
That was my original thought when I saw this line. My projections have this as a 7-point game. So to express some of my frustration with the card, if Tyler said my projections are correct, it landed right on the spread. And Tyler, you and I are well aware that these projections are not doing well on the totals. It's coming about 5 points under every single game. And it's a flaw so far.
I was going to say, why do you think that is so far?
I'm not sure. I would have fixed it.
TBD.
Tyler, Zion Williamson is questionable.
I think it doesn't matter here. I think he
Really?
plays, but I don't think it matters. If he sits, like they just plug in Trey Murphy into the starting lineup and things just kind of chug along. Brandon Ingram just explodes at that point because they don't have anybody to guard him. If you put them both on the floor, I think they win the game by 15 to 20.
Really?
Yes. Everyone's going to run to bet Memphis because Jaw's back. But yeah. If it was a different matchup, maybe I can get behind it. But like the Pelicans defense, they're fully healthy. This team's won 4 in a row. They've won 7 of their last 10. Memphis is 1-6 ATS the last 7 trips there. I think this is a Pelican spot.
All right.
So you like the spread then, Tyler, regardless of, I mean, even though spreads projections are coming right at the number?
Yeah, I like New Orleans here. And it's also a back-to-back from Memphis coming from OKC.
Okay.
So from OKC.
Which is why originally I thought this was going to be a smash spot.
Yeah, I still think it's a smash spot. I think the Jaw news is kind of pushing the casuals and just the people that see that name to the Memphis side, which has driven this number down a little bit. I still think it's the Pelicans we bet here.
Can I ask if you like any player performance doubles? I mean,
in
case you wanted to approach it. I was gonna say, in case you wanted to approach it that way, and you can't get through a show with me, Tyler, without me asking that question. So.
I like they got the Jovel double and win.
Oh, I love betting Jovel doubles.
They have I mean, he's contending with Bismack Biyombo under the rim tonight. It's the only big Memphis has. So he's a beast. It's also a little bit of a quote-unquote revenge game, even though he's traded 2 years ago to this team.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram, 25-plus points and win is plus 170. I think he can get that with Zion on the floor. If Zion's off the floor, he probably walks into 30 points.
Right.
You can play Zion 8 rebounds and win at 2-1. Zion 25-plus and win at plus 205. And I really wouldn't stray outside of those guys. And if you thought Joe Val was just going to swallow all the rebounds, 15-plus rebounds, and they win at like plus 400.
Ooh.
That would be someone I'd look at.
I think all those are good options, whether depending on how risk adverse you feel like being.
For sure.
So, all right. Spread, any other thoughts on this game or anything else you wanted to look at this game? I assume total you said you're staying away from.
I guess the final question for Tyler. So
yeah,
if Memphis comes out and we're right and they don't cover, how are we going to approach that team continuing? Do you think that they'll improve as Ja gets back?
Yes, I think they'll improve as he gets back into like game shape and game speed. But I think it's going to be the game, like we're going to play the game of, is this a good matchup for them? Like I don't think they just jump back into contention in the Western Conference. If they do,
it might be too late for that. I mean,
if he does drag them back, he's a lot better of a player than I actually thought he was. But I'm trying to think of what range I'd put him in. They're better than the bottom dwellers in the West. Would you say a fully healthy Memphis team can contend with like a Golden State right now? Once he's back to game speed, I think they can get to where they're at.
I mean, you're saying Kennard, Brandon Clark, Derrick Rose, and Marcus Smart all come back in the lineup?
Yeah, and Ja gets back up to game speed. He looks like how he did last year before all this happened. I think that they could be like, right with the, because it's the same kind of setup. You got a point guard who's doing everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
Couple little pieces around him that are supposed to be good but aren't that good. Nothing else there.
Well, that kind of sums it up.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the same 2 teams, different locations.
Yeah. And when you say back up to game speed, well, first of all, for tonight, I assume would he probably not get a full complement of minutes tonight?
I wouldn't think so, but judging by the injuries, he might have to. They have no other guards.
And he's been practicing with the team this whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They're also on a back-to-back, so he's their one fresh player that kind of upsets the apple cart.
So I could see 30 to 35. His 25.5 points, if it wasn't Herb Jones in front of him probably for most of the night, I'd say that's an auto bet. I would even go up the ladder and say 30, 35. I may still pull the trigger on the 25, but I can't get there on the ladder with Herb Jones in front of him.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, well, let's go over to our next game. We got the San Antonio Spurs at the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks are favored by 16.5. Total is 249. You said Victor is out on this one, but spread, break this one down for us and what you are liking.
Second highest spread of the year. The Pistons are the biggest underdogs of the year. I believe they were 17.5. Was it to this very same team, Tyler?
Yeah, and I think they lost the game by like 35.
Yeah, they were down by 23 at the end of the first quarter.
Yikes.
So, no Wembanyama. So, we're going to have Malachi Branham, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and Zach Collins. It's a disappointment, Tyler, because this is not a 4-21 team. I mean, there's some talented guys out here. So, definitely disappointed in the Spurs so far. On the other side, Milwaukee, interesting. We talk about them with size, and I was enjoying some of the low posts this morning, and they talk about this team's rebounding when both Antetokounmpo and Lopez are on the floor. They're top 10 in defensive rebound. But when only one of them's on the floor, they drop into the 20s. So you can see how important that two big lineup has become for this team. And I still believe that's, they kind of lost their identity when they traded Jrue Holiday. And people are not going to want to hear this because he was great, funny sideline pictures. But I think they might have had a coaching downgrade as well here too with Budenholzer. Now we must be fair because Adrian Griffin is trying to install his style of offense, and we're only 26 games into the season for Milwaukee. So it's not fair to judge him this early, but so far there's been a definite downgrade as they try to adjust to this new system. So the Bucks have went from the team that I like to back, and that's a defensive juggernaut who dominates the defensive glass and actually has some offensive rebounding ability, to kind of the prototype of the new NBA team. And that's a team that can just simply outscore you. And so they're going to do so tonight. I mean, you can't take the plus 16.5. Do we want to lay 16.5, Tyler? I mean, we talked about some of these spots yesterday. I have them winning by 18. Not a huge edge, but to me, if you want to play the spread, it's Bucks or pass. And my projections come out to an under, but I have a feeling, Tyler, this will be like yesterday when we bet that Kings under. I checked in the second quarter. Hey, we're on pace for an under. we were pacing towards 200 points, and it landed on 270. In the new NBA, these guys can just exploit the score. It's just crazy. So I can't play an under here. Lean towards the 16.5, but anyone who's been doing this for a while is not. We're just trained to be scared of laying these huge numbers. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, you either pull the trigger on Milwaukee or you just move on. If you go back and look at their most recent matchup, it was March of last year. This is pretty much the same game now with Victor off the floor, because it's not like the Spurs went out and got anybody in the offseason outside of him. So you take him off the floor. This is the same Spurs that was there last year. And the final score of that game. Well, here, I'll give you the spread and the total on that game first. Milwaukee was favored by 19.5 in that game, and the total was 237.5. Halftime score was 66-51. The Bucks ended up beating that team 130-94. They covered that 19 easily. Yeah. I think they do the same thing tonight.
But, and the thing is, I talk about this team being more offensive oriented now. And now they're going to be covering spreads against a team that we don't really need a top level defender to stop.
Just think about the way, like how you broke it down, and just picture this on the floor now. They want to shoot more threes because they're more offensive minded, but they're going to have the size advantage. They could sit there and shoot as many threes as they want because they're going to get second chances and just put the ball in the hoop. They're going to expand this lead slowly but surely in this game. It just all comes down to if they don't want to win this game by margin. They do not play tomorrow. I don't look at this as like a look ahead spot then. I think they smash them spread.
Yeah. Another good argument for a favorite.
So, or do you think you'll pull the trigger on that one, Tyler? Or is it just still like maybe not too comfortable to still pull the trigger?
I mean, 16.5 is like,
that's a big one.
Yeah, we'll go through the other two games beforehand, but I think I will end up maybe betting it personally.
Okay. And again, any performance doubles or with a potential blowout, just too worried about maybe guys getting there for their performance doubles.
If you wanted to take a shot on, say, like Middleton 3+3s and they win, is +285. Lillard 6+3s and they win 4-1, or you want to build a 5+ and they win. I really wouldn't touch like a Giannis.
That makes me nervous. Yeah,
I'd maybe play his rebounds in a performance double, or like a Bobby Portis one, like pre-build one of those.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of these ones, like the Lopez is 20 points and win at 430. That's a trap and a half, because if the blowout happens, he's going to the bench. Giannis is going to the bench. James going to the bench. Middleton's going to the bench.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'd rather play with like the chance of Middleton shoots 4 threes before they get the lead out to 40 and he makes 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Exactly. That makes sense. Yeah. Performance doubles make me nervous even in these big spreads too.
Yeah. And in a game like this, this is basically going to be a scrimmage for Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would rather stand on the perimeter and just shoot jump shots than drive to the hoop, take the chance of rolling an ankle. Just in a game like this, you don't want to get hurt. Get in, shoot your threes, get out.
Get out with the win. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Well, then let's take us to game 4. A little bit closer of a spread. We got Phoenix Suns at Portland Trail Blazers. Phoenix is favored by 7.5. Total is 231. This game got a little break in between the early 2 and late 2. This starts at 10:10 Eastern. So spread, break down this one for me. What do you like in here?
Best game of the night by far. This is a rematch of the finals from 2 years ago. Does that matter that much? I'm not necessarily sure. But if anything, it would give a small boost to Boston. Of course, Kristaps Porzingis, a game time decision. And when you're laying 5.5 points, I think that's important because he helps his team so much offensively. Porzingis, I'll have to eat my words here. I wasn't sure if that was a good trade. He's fit in beautifully there as the third option. And listen to some of his comments that he made about his immaturity and not being able to make it work with Dallas. You got to give him credit because he's learned from his mistakes, and now he's doing that complementary role perfectly. Boston has won its last 5 games. Golden State's won their last 5 games at home. So we got a couple trends going in each direction here. I'm not ready to write off this Warriors team, and maybe the time without Draymond will help a little bit. Getting these guys like Podziemski, Kuminga, and Moses Moody some run without the team. Chris Paul's the game time decision. To me, he doesn't matter to the spread at all. This little project, I don't think is working out so far with Chris Paul. Of course, Draymond and Gary Payton will be out as well. My projections have this game at 115 to 112 for the Celtics. So a slight lean here to the Warriors. The Celtics have also been excellent at home and just so-so on the road. When I look at the Celtics against the spread this season, they're 7-3 at home, 2-7-2 on the road. However, the Warriors have been the opposite of how they usually play as far as their home road splits. When I look at this team, I see a team that's 1-9-1 at home and 8-3 on the road. So, if you're writing an article or making a case and you love the team, it's pretty easy to find stats that are going to back you on both sides.
Right.
I guess I'd lean towards the Warriors here, Tyler, but I'm worried I'm taking a team that is still kind of finding itself, especially with these new personnel groupings, against a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, that's my worry here too, looking at it. I mean, they beat Brooklyn by 4. They beat Portland by 4. They've been tinkering with the lineups. It works against lower competition teams.
Mm-hmm.
Boston's going to roll in here. I think they win the game. I don't know if I want to lay the points here, though, spread, because they're not as deep as they were last year. They traded some pieces to get the Holidays in, the Porzingis guys in. And if Porzingis is out, we've seen this team struggle this year without him. It limits the bench because then Horford has to start. And it's not just, they're the Celtics from last year, because there's no big to come off the bench at that point. You're putting Luke Cornett on the floor. We all know what the Warriors are going to do to a guy like that. Put him right in the pick and roll, pull him to the outside, force him to defend. He probably gets yanked off the floor pretty fast. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think Boston wills their way to a win in the end. The projections show it, and the trends push towards it. Give me the under in this one spread. 5 of their last 5 matchups have went under. 10 of the last 11 in Golden State when they match up have went under.
Interesting.
Boston kind of knows they can guard the perimeter, and Drew Holiday's probably going to chase around Steph. Steph had a bad shooting game, probably bounces back, but I don't trust the likes of Clay and these guys against this perimeter defense, so I like the under here.
Well, and I assume you guys both still like Boston to win. How would this be probably a better opportunity if you don't trust the spread to approach it from a performance double for Boston, Tyler?
Yeah, I don't hate that idea. Like Tatum's double and win is plus 160 right now. Porzingis 60. He usually walks right into 10 rebounds when Porzingis is out. Jaylen Brown 25 plus and win is plus 165. They really don't have any perimeter defenders now that they've moved Wiggins to the bench. Like if they're going to start that lineup, they started the other night with Steph, Clay, Pods. The other two are eluding me right now, the bigs, but those bigs wouldn't even be guarding the likes of Brown. Pods can't guard Brown. Thompson's too slow, and Curry can't guard him either. So Brown could have the mismatch of a night right here and ball out against the Golden State team.
Yeah,
I don't mind Drew Holiday 6+ assists and win at 3-1.
Yep.
The assists got to come from somewhere on this team. I think Derek White's the better spot-up shooter. I think you put the ball in Drew Holiday's hands and let him control it here and just let him dish the ball out to these scorers, and they win the game that way. I do see performance doubles listed for Porzingis. He's doubtful on the injury report. I'm looking out with a calf strain.
Okay.
I highly doubt he plays with a calf strain.
Right.
All these guys that have dealt with calf strain problems and try and come back, we know what they come back into, and they walk into an Achilles tear. So I don't think he comes back. He's dealt with lower leg injuries before. He's going to sit this one out, and you'll have the Boston team without him. So if I bet them, it'll be a live bet closer to, say, -3, where Golden State could foul their way out of that spread if it's a close game, and Boston has like a 2-point lead.
Right. Yeah, Tim in chat said it was great finals a few years ago, and he looks for it to be a close game. Both teams will get up for it. So I think, like Spread said, I might have read them out of order on FanDuel, but this should be the best game on the night. Would you agree with that? That this is the game you're most looking forward to by far on the night? This
is probably definitely the best game on the board, unless you were, say, very, very like in love with that 2019 draft class of Zion and Ja, and you're like, they're both going to be on the floor tonight. I have to watch this, but from the name of the team and the history, this is the best matchup.
Sure. Absolutely. That makes sense. All right. Well, I think we got some good ones for this. Anything else you want to add to this spread before we go to our final game?
At least this game is going to be fun to watch, even though
that's what we were just kind of saying.
At least it's tough to get involved with.
Spread. Do you feel like Jaylen Brown could have the mismatch of the night here if they go with that lineup they started the other night?
What, going against Clay?
Wouldn't it be Steph, Clay, Pods? Who are the other two?
Kuminga, Looney.
So Kuminga probably guards Tatum.
Probably.
And that leaves Thompson to try and guard Brown. Yeah, I think Brown could eat tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree there. I mean, that's going to be the issue here, as Clay used to be like an elite defender, and now he's kind of a target there.
How
but you know
old is
what's
Clay?
funny?
It's crazy to me just how much he's seemed to step back, obviously, literally this year.
Wow, tough injuries to come back from.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, it's been brutal injuries that he's had, and the comeback they had when they won the finals, that was amazing. But no, I totally get that. How old is he, though?
It's got to be into his 30s, right?
33 or 34.
Okay, I thought he was like just a few years younger than Curry, or just a couple years younger than Curry.
Just to let Tim know, Gary Payton's out tonight.
Oh, okay.
So gotcha. That loses an option for that team. And Tyler, the other thing is, even though our eye test defense on Clay is really bad, he's actually doing a pretty good job contesting jump shots, and opponents have a much lower true field goal percentage against him than I expected when I looked it up. So I'm a little hesitant there. The eye test has been bad, and it's just funny, and that's why I think it's good to watch the games and then use the numbers as well, because sometimes those things can contradict. And his actual effective field goal percentage against as the primary defender has not been as bad as I would have expected.
All right. Well, that will take us. So this is the game you guys want to watch. But that'll take us to the last game. I might have read these out of order earlier. I apologize. This one's Phoenix Suns minus 7.5 against the Trailblazers. Total is 231. So what do you think about this one, Spread? Any interest here? Break it down for me and anything you like.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with making the trades such as that Bradley Beal trade is if one of the guy gets hurt, your depth is decimated, which is why I'm having problems getting to this 7.5 against the Suns. I did consume some content this morning, and I did hear a lot of people who like the Suns here. Let's see what my projections put this one at. I have this as an 11-point Suns win, right? So projections heavily favor the Suns here. What I'm worried about is that with this Portland team being a little more healthy, I may be under projecting this team. If I did take that 7.5, though, I do want Shaedon Sharpe in the lineup. Currently, he's the game time decision, and he's a player that I believe they need because he has the athleticism to beat almost anybody off the dribble. These teams have played once before, and it was probably DeAndre Ayton's best game of the season. Devin Booker threw a little shot at him later, and the Phoenix Suns got the win there in Phoenix. So, of course, probably a better performance from Ayton again tonight because it's not that he's not talented. Consistency has been his issue. Even though my projections like the Suns, my brain likes the points. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I think Suns kind of just go out there and do their thing. One way I would bet Portland, though, is the guards for Phoenix don't really play much defense. Like, Booker's not going to go lock down Simons. Neither is the other guard. I don't see anybody else guarding Simons. His 5+ threes made is plus 280. His 6+ is plus 650. We know the dude just chucks threes. He's going to shoot double-digit threes tonight. So that's one prop I like, just laddering that up. I do think Phoenix wins this game in the end. It's just the added-in factor of Nurkic back in his old town, Ayton in his new town versus his old team. They beat up on him the first time they played him. Now they're coming up to his new town. You know they want to pound him into the ground there. I think Booker just cooks that backcourt too. Like a Booker 25+ and win. I don't hate that. There's a 30+ and win at plus 160. You could do Durant 8+ rebounds and win at plus 205, or even the Nurkic double-double and win at plus 120. Because I don't see Ayton slowing him down.
Right. I forget. Yeah, I feel like we did this show the last time these two matched up. What happened between Nurkic and Ayton in that game? What was the stats on each of them?
Here, let me go back and get that.
If I remember right, the Suns covered, but it was DeAndre Ayton's best statistical performance of the year.
I thought it was a good Ayton game, but I couldn't remember. Yeah, that's why I just wanted to kind of circle back on both Nurkic and Ayton in that game. Because I actually feel like I remember us talking about that game. The kind of revenge factor for both. All right. Any other thoughts from you, Spread, on this one?
That's the tough one.
Yeah. So kind of stay away in general. Yeah. Side total, basically, stay away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sharp out. Are you down to pull a trigger, Spread?
I'm trying to find the Suns' last 5 right now.
Or 2 and 3 in it.
Sharp's questionable right now, you said?
Who would they go 2 and 3 against, though?
It was, let me go back to that screen. They beat Washington, beat Golden State, lost to New York, lost to Brooklyn, lost to Sacramento.
So they lost 3 in a row.
Yeah. So I'm just sorting by last 5. Over the last 5, the Phoenix Suns, where are they? Not very good. Minus 4.4 net rating. And the Portland Trailblazers are last with the minus 8.2 net rating. So I guess I'm over. I guess I'm overvaluing Phoenix's recent run. I mean, Portland's recent run here. Yeah, you know what, Tyler? Now that we're looking at this up and I'm looking a little closer, I would be willing to join you if they're out.
And they're getting Grayson Allen back. That's an extra piece for Phoenix. Like Yeah, I think it's a Phoenix spot.
I think I'm overvaluing this team because they've been covering, but when I'm actually just looking at their numbers as a team, they've been terrible.
Yeah, and when they cover,
we have such low expectations for them.
Outside of this Golden State game that they covered a +6 in, their only other covers are double digits. You got 14.5, you got a 12.5, you got a 12, you got a 12, and you got a 13.
Yeah.
So. I'm not afraid to lay a single digit against this team.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. You already covered some good performance doubles for this one. If you just want to approach it that way with Phoenix, I always have to ask you too, any like good doubles spots just in general, like, a couple of guys just to target their double
doubles. Just like off the top of my head across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Nurkic in this game.
Okay.
Tatum in the Boston game.
Yeah, you mentioned Tatum.
Joe in the Memphis and New Orleans game.
Right. Okay.
In Milwaukee, I mean, it's going to be like -1,000, but Giannis.
Yeah. Right. Okay. No, I like you when you mention those too, because those are fun to sometimes, bet like 2 or 3 together and get plus odds. And, so I've had a little success with that this NBA season. So I was just curious on your thoughts. I like those. All right. Did you guys want to build a parlay together just for fun to wrap this show up, since it's not a very, impactful?
I know. I feel bad, Meg. Like I told you, I think this is my least favorite card of the NBA season.
We're building a winner right here.
All right. What you got?
Let's do it. Well, I mean, you guys go first. I mean,
what are we doing here? Are we just winning, or are we swinging for the fences?
I mean, you know me. I like swinging for the fences on just a silly
parlay.
All right,
first leg, Anthony Simons 5+3s.
There it is. All right. I'm grabbing that now. Okay. Spread, what do you got? Get crazy.
What would you say earlier, Tyler? Like a Damian Lillard 5+3s was what?
Here, I can build that one out for us right now. Give me one.
Let's do Lillard threes.
Lillard threes and they win?
Sure. I mean,
yeah,
give you an extra 10 cents.
Why not? Or we could do a Lillard 5+3s is 2-1. So yeah. We had the money line. We're gonna get +210. So
yeah.
Just for giggles, I gotta click the button and see what it adds. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on FanDuel. It's
actually, this is actually right this is how you know the same game parlay thing is just kind of like it works for you in times, but other times it's like, yeah, you're not just gonna cheat us. Dame Lillard 5+3s by itself is 2-1. I added that -1600 money line.
Yeah.
It's now +183. It went down.
I have seen that happen weird, like you said, like where you're like, okay, what? This makes no sense.
That's the computer algorithm saying you're not cheating us. We're just gonna lower this since you want to do this. Like if you go in and you try and like correlate everything and it just bumps it up by like 10 cents.
It's just like little things. That's why I mean we talk about this all the time, but I love those uncorrelated. I know they're hard to get through, but I love those uncorrelated ones. I was gonna do Joe Val because I love betting his rebounds or double, but I feel like, do we just stick with threes here? If so, who's the good third leg?
I was thinking maybe the Tatum double and win.
Okay. We can do that.
That gets us 28-1. What's Joe Val's rebound prop at? Let's go check that out. 11.5. What's his 10? -280.
I'm on FanDuel, so
I think I might just stick with those 3 legs. I'd really hate to add his 10+ at -280 and he grabs 9 rebounds. When we got 3+ money ones that I actually like.
Wait, so who were you gonna just stick with? You weren't gonna do Joe Val?
I was gonna knock him down to just 10+ rebounds at -280.
Yeah,
I really hate to put a -280 in this plus money parlay, and that's what loses.
Right. Okay.
So I think we ride out with the 28-1.
Okay, so you did Jason Tatum double and win. Can you can add a player parlay double to they're already built on FanDuel?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking for that now. Oh yeah, nice. All right, I like it. So We've got Simons 5+3s in the late game. Lillard 5+3s for the Bucks, and then you've got Jason Tatum double and win.
I might have one more leg for you, Meg. I'm sorry, but I gotta check one stat on this guy real quick. See how he's done in this matchup.
You know I love these.
Let's see. Now we'll leave that leg out. He hasn't scored 25 against them a lot. I was going to go Brandon Ingram 25 plus because it's plus 115.
I was going to say, you talked about that earlier, but that you said it kind of depended on if Zion was out. You felt more confident if Zion's out, obviously.
And looking at them, he hasn't really done it. He's came into those like 20 to 24 range. Mm-hmm. And if they do blow him out, I'd really hate to see him go to the bench in that little bit of range where he's close to it and he just doesn't get it.
Right. All right, guys. Well, we built a fun parlay. We may not have a ton of bets on the card that they're officially rolling with, but it's not necessarily the greatest card. Hopefully a fun little rematch of the Celtics Warriors that everybody can enjoy. Have a little fun with this parlay. They gave out some great player performance doubles. They're leaning in a couple spots. So hopefully you got enough to check out the final picks over at fanspeak.com sports betting tab. I'll let you guys get us out of here. Spread. I'll go to you first. Any final thoughts for tonight?
No. Sorry we don't have as many hot takes today, but we're not going to force things for you.
You can't force it. Exactly.
We got to be transparent.
Exactly. Absolutely. Tyler, final thoughts for this evening?
Yeah, just make sure you go over to fanspeak.com and check out the sheet because we'll put those X's up. We will find spots for tonight.
I like it. Thank you, Tim, for joining us. Great show. Thank you, anybody who's watching. Be sure to like this episode. Subscribe to Fanspeak Network. We're going to be back on Thursday talking the NFL betting card. So for Spread, for Tyler, I'm Meg, and we will see you Thursday.